For a long time, I believed discipline was something you turned on after you became successful. Like a reward. Like something that came once you proved yourself. I was wrong. Discipline isn't what follows success. It's what survives before it. In the beginning, I thought trading was about intelligence. Understanding patterns. Seeing things others didn't. I told myself if I learned enough, discipline would come naturally. But knowledge didn't calm me. It made me restless. The more I learned, the more I wanted to act. Every chart felt like an opportunity. Every movement felt meaningful. And when I wasn't in a trade, something felt off. Like I was wasting time. I didn't realize it then, but I wasn't chasing profit. I was chasing reassurance. Reassurance that I was doing something right. That I was moving forward. That I wasn't falling behind. So I stayed active. I traded often. Not recklessly. Just constantly. I told myself that's what serious traders do. They show up. They participate. They stay involved. But involvement isn't discipline. It's exposure. And too much exposure blurs judgment. I started noticing patterns, not on the chart, but in myself. I traded more when the market was quiet. More when nothing was happening. More when waiting felt uncomfortable. Patience didn't feel calm. It felt heavy. Like pressure building. And pressure always demanded release. So I released it through trades. Trades that weren't terrible. Just unnecessary. Those are the most dangerous ones. Because they don't feel wrong in the moment. They feel reasonable. This setup is fine. I'll manage it tight. I don't need much. That logic kept me busy. And slowly drained me. There was one session that changed everything. No volatility. No momentum. Just price drifting sideways. I watched for hours. Every small move looked important. I wanted to do something. Anything. So I did. I entered without real confirmation. Price stalled. Moved slightly. Then reversed. I scratched the trade. Small loss. Nothing serious. But something felt off. Not because of the money. Because I knew the truth. I didn't trade because I had an edge. I traded because I couldn't sit still. That realization landed hard. Because it meant the problem wasn't strategy. It was discipline, or the lack of it. And discipline wasn't about rules. It was about restraint. That day, I wrote something down. If I can't wait, I can't win. It sounded simple. Almost obvious. But it wasn't easy. Because waiting exposes you. It forces you to face uncertainty without action. And that's uncomfortable. But discomfort was the cost of control. From that day on, I stopped asking whether I could trade. I started asking whether I should. That single question changed everything. Once I started asking whether I should trade instead of whether I could, everything slowed down. Not the market. Me. I began noticing how often my urge to trade had nothing to do with opportunity. It came from emotion. Boredom. Restlessness. The quiet pressure of feeling like time was slipping away. When nothing happened on the chart, my mind tried to create meaning. I'd convince myself a level mattered. That momentum was building. That I was early, not wrong. But being early and being wrong feel exactly the same in real time. The difference only shows up later. I started tracking something new. Not entries. Not exits. Impulse. When did I feel the strongest urge to trade? And the answer was always the same. When I felt uncomfortable doing nothing. That's when discipline mattered most. Because discipline isn't needed when things are obvious. It's needed when things are quiet. I made a rule for myself. If I felt rushed, I stepped back. If I felt excited, I waited. If I felt anxious, I reduced size, or stayed out completely. At first, this felt like weakness. Like I was avoiding the market. But over time, I realized I was avoiding mistakes. There's a difference. The hardest days weren't losing days. They were flat days. Days where the market offered nothing. Because those days forced me to sit with myself. No action. No validation. No distraction. Just observation. And that's where discipline was forged. I noticed something unexpected. The trades I skipped didn't haunt me. The trades I forced always did. Missed opportunity faded quickly. Forced mistakes lingered. That contrast changed how I saw everything. Waiting wasn't passive anymore. It was protective. It protected my confidence. My energy. My clarity. and clarity became my real edge. When a high-quality setup finally appeared, it stood out immediately. No debating. No convincing. No tension. Just alignment. Those trades felt different. Calmer. Cleaner. More controlled. Even losses felt different. They didn't trigger urgency. They didn't demand revenge. They were just part of the process. That's when I understood something most traders never do. Discipline doesn't restrict you. It frees you. It frees you from overthinking. From overtrading. From emotional cycles that never end. The market stopped feeling like something I had to chase. It became something I responded to. And that shift made everything sustainable. The real test of discipline didn't come during a winning streak. It came during a loss. A clean setup. Proper context. Correct size. I followed the rules. And it still failed. Price hit my stop and kept moving. In the past, this would have triggered something in me. Frustration. Urgency. That familiar urge to get it back. But this time, nothing happened. No emotional spike. No pressure. Just acceptance. That moment mattered more than any profitable trade I'd ever taken. Because it showed me the truth. Discipline isn't about avoiding losses. It's about not reacting to them. Most traders think consistency comes from confidence. It doesn't. Confidence rises and falls with results. Discipline stays. And discipline creates stability. I reviewed the trade later. Not to criticize myself. Not to justify anything. Just to observe. The setup was valid. The execution was clean. The outcome didn't matter. That separation changed everything. I stopped tying my identity to individual trades. Wins didn't inflate me. Losses didn't define me. They became information. Feedback. Nothing more. Once that happened, something subtle shifted. Losing days stopped feeling dangerous. Winning days stopped feeling euphoric. Everything leveled out. And that's when consistency finally showed up. Not because I was smarter. Not because I found a better system. But because I stopped self-destructing during uncertainty. Drawdowns became manageable. Recovery became steady. I wasn't trying to escape losses anymore. I was managing them. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Professionals don't avoid losses. They avoid emotional damage. I also noticed something else. The less I forced trades, the more selective I became naturally. I didn't need rules to stop me. I didn't want to trade unless it was clear. And clarity doesn't shout. It waits. That patience spilled into everything. I stopped watching charts obsessively. Stopped replaying mistakes at night. Stopped measuring my worth by daily outcomes. Trading became contained. And containment is critical. Because when trading consumes you, every loss feels personal. Once it stopped being personal, performance improved. Quietly. Gradually. Sustainably. The biggest misconception in trading is that success comes from effort. It doesn't. It comes from restraint. From knowing when not to act. From understanding that the market doesn't reward activity. It rewards discipline. If you've ever felt pressure to trade just to feel productive, you're not broken. You're early. The real edge isn't speed. It's stillness. And once you learn to sit with it, everything changes. If this helped you, like the video and subscribe. More lessons like this are coming. And comment discipline below. Because naming it is the first step to building it.